What is up, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Engine. These are the best bets for Dana White's Contender Series. We have week 3, and Lou, it is officially Bo Nickel fight week. We've been waiting for it. It is finally here. How are you feeling?
I'm ready. I don't know how bettable that fight is, but I'm excited to just sit back and watch. I did that for most of this last weekend's fight cards. Proved I can, in fact, watch without having a lot of action. So it was nice. Yeah, interesting fights here. And there's one fight in particular I'm going to be really happy to talk about from a very strange perspective.
I hope it's not the freaking...
It is.
Oh, yeah, that fight. Oh, my goodness, man. Yeah, this is a card that, last week was phenomenal. That week 2, I don't think any card this season is going to kind of live up to that, but hopefully this card's good. I think there are a couple fights I'm looking forward to, and as always, we're going to get into it from a betting perspective, give our picks as well. Before we get into it, guys, leave a like, subscribe here to the MMA Engine. Let's keep on growing the channel. Just a side note, me and Uncle Weasel will be going live after the Die Hard MMA podcast for Probability, so make sure you are subscribed so don't miss out on that. But Lou, I say we get into it, and let us start with the very first fight on the card. We have Karolina Wojcik going against Sandra Lovato, the zombie. I'll let you kick this one off. Is there anything sticking out on this fight here?
From a betting perspective, no. I like the Wojcik side. I know Lovato has the reach advantage. She has the height advantage, even though Tapology doesn't seem to know that. But she throws a lot of looping punches. I don't think she has any power. At least with Wojcik, she's got a little bit of pop. She can go for takedowns if she wants. I don't know that she's any kind of submission threat, but it's there. If anybody's going to take this to the ground, it's going to be hers. But she's minus 215 currently on best fight odds, and even her decision prop is minus 165. So there's no real discount to take that. So the pick for the show is Wojcik, but I do not believe that I will be getting there on the betting window.
Yep, I will not either. You brought up the line there. Yeah, minus 165 for the decision. That's how I think she wins. She only has a 25% finish rate, 25% by knockout. I don't really see her going out there and knocking out Lovato, the zombie there. But yeah, I think she's very physically strong. She's fought the much better competition. It's really not even close. I think she does get this fight down to the mat and kind of grind out a decision win here. But yeah, there's no value on that. You don't want to lay minus 165 on a decision prop, especially on the Contender Series. Strawweight or not. So yeah, this is gonna be a pass for me from a betting perspective, but as far as a pick, I will go with Karolina as well. Probably even not going to touch the money line, like minus 230 on Bet Online, minus 215 on DraftKings. I think the best move for me and you as well, it seems, probably just a pass here. We can move on to the next fight, though. We have what should be a pretty good one. We have Clayton Carpenter going against Edgar Chairez. I will let you kick this one off. Is there anything sticking out from a betting perspective here?
Yeah, this one, I like Carpenter, and I like him to get it done inside the distance. He's 5-0. He's shown some diversity in his striking and grappling. I think Chairez is tough. Like, he's shown some toughness, but he gets caught a lot in bad positions on the ground. Carpenter seems, like I said, he seems to be well-rounded, and he's training with really good people right now. Trains with O'Malley, trains with Mario Batista. I think he's getting better and better. I think he's actually got some potential in the UFC past this fight. I take in the distance because I do think he has submissions. I think he should be taking this fight to the ground because Chairez is going to be very dangerous as long as it's standing. I don't think he's going to be very dangerous if and when it hits the ground. I believe that's what Carpenter will do here. So give me Clayton Carpenter to get this on the ground and either get a ground and pound finish or a submission. I think either one is live. And let's say round 2 just to be cheeky.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I do like Carpenter as well, and I do like him to win by submission. Would like a little bit better of a price on the submission prop. Like, they're only giving plus 175. So, yeah, Carpenter does have an 80% finish rate. He's finished all but one of his wins. He does have one decision win there, but everything else is like half of his finishes are by knockout, half are by submission. So, yeah, I would like a little bit more juice on that submission prop. So I'll probably just go with the same thing. Carpenter to win inside the distance. Even like the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 230. I don't think it's like a terrible parlay piece. Chairez has actually finished 100% of his wins. And like I said, Carpenter does have an 80% finish rate. But yeah, I'm with you. Carpenter should get this down to the mat. I think the submission is going to be super live. Chairez has been submitted twice And Carpenter is, I believe, a brown belt in BJJ. And like you said, training with really good guys there. So yeah, I like Carpenter as well. Looks like we're on the same page once again. Carpenter inside the distance, more specifically by submission. And you like that round two plus 450. Yeah, I'm kind of like round one or round two. I think it's gonna be early on. I don't think this gets to the third round.
Gotcha. I just want to address this question as far as this parlay. I don't want to touch the first fight personally. So, I mean, that Carolina's the pick. If you want to put it in a parlay, like, I mean, go for it. But it's pretty low level women's MMA. I mean, fight goes the distance is minus 320 in that. Oh. That almost feels safer. But
yeah.
But like, I don't want any part of that one personally. And I think there's another fight on this card you can parlay it with that I know is Brady's favorite.
Don't say Bo Nickel. Don't say
no, I won't.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't parlay either, to be honest. I think they both win. I mean, if that's something you want to do, feel free, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that myself. We'll move on to the next fight. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite fight on the card, outside of course, Bo Nickel. But we have Eric Silva going against Anvar Boynazarov. There we go. This should be a very fun fight. This is the definition of a striker versus grappler matchup. And first of all, do you know off the top of your head, how old is Eric Silva? I couldn't find his age on Tapology, but I think he's like mid 30s. Like
he's 33 or 34.
33 or 34. And then on the flip side, Anvar, like he's not a young guy himself. So we have two guys like in their like early 30s here, which is interesting. But like I said, striker versus grappler. I don't think this fight sees the second round. I think it's pretty clear. I think either Anvar is able to get the first round knockout. This guy's extremely dangerous. Kickboxing background. He has that win over Giga Chikadze back in the day. Really good leg kicks, and then he has those knees as well. He's knocked two guys out with those knees. He's knocked somebody out with those leg kicks as well. And then all his finishes do come in the first round, and also in the first couple minutes of the first round as well. You have Eric Silva, who his striking is good, but he's not going to want to strike with Boynazarov here. He's going to want to get this fight down to the mat early and often. And when he does get the fight down to the mat, he's extremely good, extremely dangerous, really good back takes. And once he takes your back, the fight is over shortly after. I really like Eric Silva to get this fight down to the mat and find that submission. It's just there are some unknowns here, and that's the case for a lot of Contender Series fights. I don't know how good or how bad Anvar's takedown defense is, but I do know if he does get taken down, he's in serious trouble here. So I am leaning towards the Silva side. I am leaning towards Silva by submission. Silva by submission is plus 225. And I'm also waiting for the over-under. I'm hoping they set it at 1.5 here. I like the under 1.5, and I typically don't play those, but I think it's pretty simple. I think it's an Anvar first round knockout, or Silva gets him down and finds that sub in the first round. So I'm looking for the under 1.5 here potentially, and then also Silva by submission, which again, plus 225. Lou, what do you like in here in this fight?
Okay, so first of all, Anvar's picture, I'm not sure if it's a real picture or it's a drawing until I saw him at the weigh-ins. Yeah. I didn't think he looked great at the weigh-ins, to be honest. Like, he's really, really skinny. Don't let the 3-0 record fool you with him. He has like 109, 110 kickboxing fights. So, like, this is an experienced guy, just not so much in the MMA world, but this is definitely a guy with some serious striking ability. What I like, I'm with you on the Silva sub. The reason I like Silva sub so much here is he's good enough on the feet to not just have a blindly bad takedown attempt. He can get inside, get the takedown he wants. And if you watch his tape, he goes for takedowns typically within the first minute of fights. It's not like one of these guys we're worried about where it's like, we're at the end of the first round, we're like, why is he finally going for a takedown? Like, he's not out to prove that he can just knock the guy out. Like, he's going to take the path of least resistance, get him down. I'll do you one better. If this prop drops, I will take fight to end within 60 seconds.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I don't think, because I don't know if Anvar needs more than one. I mean, I think this has got a death touch. And I think if Silva does get a takedown in the first 20 seconds, he could have the submission within 10, 15 seconds after that. He could have him locked up. So if they release that prop, I will take a small poke on it. But Silva sub at plus 225 is great. The under 1.5 is, I don't know what we're getting here. We can only hope that Gianni takes the over. You know, we only hope for our sake that he takes the over here. But I gotta like the under 1.5. I saw fight doesn't go as minus 360. That's a fairly safe parlay piece here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, hopefully they get that 1.5 out there. That is something I'm going to be highly considering. And I think Johnny might take that over. It is a featherweight fight. So I think he might take that over there.
It is possible.
There we go. I like it. All right.
Then
I
we
do
go
want
to
to.
the main event.
Oh
Sorry,
my
go ahead.
goodness. No, this fight, man. I don't know. We have freaking Jamal Pogues going against Paulo Renato Jr. Where do we start? I mean, you're more excited about this fight than I am, so I'll let you kick it off. This is a weird fight, man. We have Jamal Pogues, who's literally a light heavyweight. This is going to be his second fight at heavyweight, and then we have Paulo Renato Jr., who is has fought at welterweight before. He's 6 foot. He's very small for the division. This fight just makes no sense why it's at heavyweight. But yeah, kick it off. You're more excited about it than I am, dude.
So Pogues weighed in, I believe it was like 25 pounds more today, too. He's going to have a humongous size advantage in this fight. I know this is like John Kelly and I were talking about this fight today. He loves the Pogues side here. He's been on the Contender series before, so I don't think he's going to try to win like a weird decision. I don't trust either one of their cardios, but Pogues has some takedown talent. I mean, I've seen it like one of the fights on his tape. It's not coming to me which one, but he was kind of gasping in the second round and still smart enough to just go for takedowns and kind of kill time on the ground. So he's not just winging bombs recklessly. But let's talk about the Renato side, because this is what I love about this fight. If you look at his fights, and we've already gone over the one with Chuck Norris in it, but so Gilson Cardoso is 49 years old.
My God.
Sorry, now he's 50. He was 49 at the time of the fight. It was 6-14 at the time of this fight. Okay. This guy, Guillermo Lemos, doesn't have any stats. We don't even know how tall he is. 0-1. So, and there's no tape on this. And then Cristiano Rocha, who is the German, the crazy German, even though he lives in Brazil, was 43 at the time of the fight and only had a couple of pro fights. So it's weird to have any kind of small record at that age. So what am I getting at here is that this is like Moseroff levels of BS padded like nonsense. If you notice, these are the 3 fights he's had since last year. And those are the only fights he's had in 5 years. I mean, he was fighting at welterweight in 2017, allegedly comes up to heavyweight, and has these 3 fights against rigged. I mean, these are rigged opponents. This is absurd. So I have to bet Pogues by default. Is he bettable at this line? I mean, not really, but if you want to, I'd rather parlay him than Wasiak in the first fight. But I think this will be like, Bordeaux Parisian magnificent levels. Like Mays Hamby, like these epics that we've been privileged as fans to see. I think this will meet that gold standard. So the pick is Pogues, and I may get cute with like a round 3 prop, but probably not. But Pogues inside the distance is -150. That's not awful here. I just do not see how Renato is like, I don't know. He's going to be so undersized. I've seen nothing on his tape that proves he can compete at any level. So by default, I go with Pogues, a guy who I've seen can actually win on this show.
Sounds good. Yeah, I taped this fight, and I didn't even bother to look at the weight class until the weigh-ins, right? I thought this was for sure at light heavyweight, because it makes no sense, right? Like, Pogues literally is a light heavyweight. He fought at light heavyweight his last time, and Renato, dude's fought at welterweight before. So yeah, I thought this was at light heavyweight, and then I see the weigh-ins, and Pogues, he looks in horrendous shape. I don't think he's prepared for this fight, and that terrifies me because he's literally -300. So, and it also terrifies me because his game plan is going to be getting this fight down to the mat. And I was actually impressed with Pogues and what I saw. His wrestling's really good. His grappling's slick. He's 6'3", and he's really good on the mat. So I think the skills are there, but the weigh-ins were not really convincing for me on the Pogues side. But he's still going to have a pretty big weight advantage here. You said it's like 20-something pound weight advantage, something like that.
I think it was 25 pounds. Yeah,
25, and then he's on top of that, he's like 3 inches taller. I like Pogues here, but I just don't really feel comfortable laying like the minus 300 here. And then on top of that, like no props even stick out. Pogues inside the distance minus 150. I think that is what I would take, but I will not be laying a penny on this fight. But yeah,
I would imagine as somebody who's coming back to the show and with
mhm.
the Dana White edict that he knows he has to get a finish here. Because, I mean, he won last time and didn't get a contract. I think he knows.
Yeah.
So I imagine he will be hunting for ground and pound, most likely. I don't know if he's wrapping up some kind of crazy sub here. I mean, I'm sure he could, but
Yeah, my concern is just him potentially gassing out. Like he did not look like in the best shape, so that's my concern. But he should finish this guy. Honestly, he's probably finish him in the first round. But yeah, give me Pogues. Pogues inside the distance minus 150. I just don't think I'll be betting this fight though.
I would guess that they're doing this at heavyweight, or that he's more interested in doing it at heavyweight, just because it feels like that's going to be the easiest path to get signed this year on the show.
Yeah,
Just because they really need to restock that division. I mean, once Hunsucker went down to 205, there's vacancies to fill here. So
vacancies and legacy to fill as well.
absolutely.
Dan has a really important question in the chat.
I saw it about Yam Bags. My alert went up. I mean, out of all the fights on the card, this sure seems like the one. I mean, and it seems like it would be either from the Renato side early, or if Pogue starts death gassing later, you know. Yeah, this is bagorific.
Do they have those Ian Bags plays for the Contender Series?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll check DraftKings tomorrow night, but you know, I don't think they get cute with this stuff. You imagine like just start signing up with a sports book, and that's the first bet you make. They're just gonna nuke your account immediately. They're gonna be like, wait, that was his first bet and he hit it. Like,
Oh
nope.
yeah.
What a sharp.
Definitely a sharp there. But yeah, man. It's time for the main event. The moment we have all been waiting for. We have Bo Nickel going against Zachary Borrego. You've been hyping up Bo Nickel, I think, since week one. So, kick us off. Obviously, there's he's minus 2450 at the moment. So I'm curious to see if you found any way at all to kind of attack this from a betting perspective. But I'm pretty confident you're going to go with Bo Nickel here, the favorite.
I mean, I think Bo Nickel money line is a smart bet. It's, I have him capped at minus 39,000 in this fight, so it's still value. I mean, look, this is honestly, unless you're going to bet him round one, which I haven't decided yet, because he's still a guy with like no experience. He has some grappling matches, sure, but he's still got less than 40 seconds of cage experience. He's minus 190 to win in round one against Borrego, who I realize that he's a professional fighter, and I'm not a professional fighter, so I'm always careful what I say. But this guy's not very far ahead of me in terms of what Dana White's looking for to get in the UFC, and I'm 44. So I mean, Borrego's tape is brutal. It's his last fight, the split decision win, was against a 4-8 guy, was not a good look. Him getting knocked out in 30 seconds as an amateur was just so bad. I mean, he ran just face first into there was he didn't throw a punch. He just walked at the guy with his hands down and just got lit up for 30 seconds. It was brutal. Yeah, I mean, either round one or just honestly sit back and enjoy it. There's never been. All I have to say is the last time I remember a setup fight with a line this wide, it did not go well if you took Aaron Pico, because he lost to like a 1-9 dude in 30 seconds. He got tapped out. So I'm just saying it could. There's a lot of variance in this sport, but yeah, give me we are Bo Nickel.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, this is Bo Nickel all day here. I think he's better everywhere. Like even Borrego, like his striking is his best asset, but he comes forward. He's open to be hit. Doesn't really seem like he has a lot of power. Hasn't fought the best competition, but yeah, Bo Nickel should have him covered pretty much everywhere. Bo Nickel striking, like we haven't seen a ton of it, but from what I've seen, like it's really good. He has a ton of power. Throws everything into all his shots. Of course, he has that elite wrestling background. He's a blue belt in BJJ, so he's working on that ground game. Yeah, Bo Nickel should have him covered pretty much everywhere. But how do you bet a minus 2450 favorite? It's kind of like Terrence McKinney last week. McKinney was like minus 900, minus 1,000. His round one prop was around minus 200. Bo Nickel minus 2450. His round one prop actually just got hit. It's now minus 200 there. So, I mean, that's really the only way you could even think about playing this, I think, unless you want to take a shot on the dog and Borrego. But I think Nickel gets him out of here and gets him out of here in the very first round. But yeah, no bet for me on this fight. It's really hard to bet a minus 2450 favorite. Yeah,
what do you think his ceiling is?
I think it could be big, man. Like you see a lot of times these wrestlers come in here and they're kind of one dimensional, right? But if he has that striking, he has that grappling, and then the wrestling to go with it, like he could be dangerous. And he's only 26, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And he's mountain tough because I know a lot of these people from Penn State. I know that area of the state. I know you know that area of the state pretty well.
Yeah,
that's Central PA. These are some tough dudes with their moonshine and mountain climbing, and not moonshine. I guess he seems very grounded.
yes.
Like he seems very focused on his career, very religious. So I think he's taking this very seriously. I mean, there's nothing else we can really add to this. Like it's Bo Nickel. If he loses, he loses. All right.
I mean, I would like to see him have a couple more professional fights before coming onto the Contender Series, but there's so much hype on this guy that he's coming in here with one fight, and he's a big ass favorite.
I mean, like there's no angle. Like I see Rob saying not even fight doesn't go the distance. I mean, it's minus 800. His in the distance prop is minus 750.
Oh,
I mean, we don't have an under 1.5 yet. I mean, if it's, what do you think it's going to be? Minus 400.
It's going to be juiced.
It's going to be minus 350.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, it's either Nickel round one. I mean, I do know that, like, and this is one thing I didn't like about these props is if you look at his submission versus his KO, his submission is plus 225, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not going to get overly cute here. People are convinced of the KO because of his last fight. Like Couchford and I were talking about this before, but if he takes this fight to the ground, I mean, we haven't seen Borrego really defend a lot on the ground. I mean, but what if Nickel gets hit early and he's like, I don't like this. What if he gets hit?
Yeah.
I mean, the takedown should be there all day, all night. And if he gets the takedown, and this is a guy who's been in how many grappling competitions has he been in the last year? I mean, that's what he's doing, like to train. He's a 3-time NCAA champion. I mean, the guy is going to be, the advantage on the ground should be like, this line won't look wide at all if he takes him to the ground. He'll look minus 10,000. So,
absolutely.
So, I mean, the sub's an interesting look, but I think just play round one. If this thing gets out of the first round, I'd be shocked. Yeah. So, or do what I do, and I'm probably just going to watch it and be like, it's Bo Nickel season. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling to find a lot of spots. We'll do a quick recap, and then we'll give a parlay. So for the first fight, I'm going with Wojcik. I'm going to take Wojcik to win by decision, which is like minus 165. I mean, that's not great. And then I like Carpenter in the next fight. I like the inside the distance, which is minus 125, or the sub, which is plus 175. For the Silva fight, I do like Silva to win by submission, and I'm also going to be taking a very hard look at the under 1.5. I think somebody's going down early. And then in the Pogues fight, I know it's your favorite fight, Lou, but for me, I'll take Pogues inside the distance minus 150, but I won't be betting it. And then for the Bo Nickel fight, Nickel round one, but I won't be betting that at minus 200. Go ahead and give a quick recap, and then we'll do a quick parlay.
Well, I mean, I like literally all the same things you do, so I'm just constructing the parlay right now.
All right, I will.
I mean, I like all 5 of the same things. So let's see what this guy pays. Nickel round one. There we go, guys. Plus 2249.
It's not bad.
Is the 5 end of the parlay. Honestly, I mean, I really don't want to play that first fight, though. I really don't want to play
absolutely not.
But honestly, if you take those 4, if you take Wojcik out and you guys do a round robin with it, if Silva wins, you're probably looking at 7-1 on a round robin. And if you hit 3 of the 4, you're going to at least double your money. That may not be a bad way to play this card.
Yeah, I feel it. But yeah, man, it's kind of a tough week from a betting perspective in this one. I think they're kind of all over a lot of these props. So gonna be taking a look to see if they open anything else up that sticks out. But yeah, man, we did about 25 minutes in week 3. First, before I kick it to you, Lou, I do want to shout out the chat for stopping by. We got Dan in the chat. What is up, Dan? We got Derek. We got Rob. We got Couch Warrior. Appreciate all you guys for stopping by here with us. Me and Lou go live every Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Addicted to Combat. Papa Chuck. What is up, guys? But yeah, Lou, let the people know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the rest of the week for some content.
I will be on. Actually, I have kind of a weirdly busy week this week. I'm on with Addicted to Combat Wednesday night. He is doing his second live stream on his channel. I'll be breaking down some fights with him. Thursday, props to consider, and then maybe bet on the MMA Engine. Friday, happy hour with Monk, and I have a new weekly show now off the network with DFS Whisperer. I don't know if you know who you guys are familiar with him, but it is not MMA related at all. We are breaking down the week in soccer from a DFS and betting perspective, and I hit everything but one bet last week. So our show is off to a very, very good start over there.
Good stuff. Yeah, go check them out. I'm not a big fan of soccer myself, but I know a lot of people in the community actually are. So go check that out. For me, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. My full card breakdown for Vegas, or not Vegas, San Diego will be out tomorrow. And yeah, other than that, find me on Pub Sports Radio, MMA Engine, DFS by the numbers, all those places. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe here to the MMA Engine as always. And best of luck for Dana White's Contender Series Week 3. And let's go, Bo Nickel, go get that first round finish. See you guys.